Hello and welcome back to another Track Talk. Today we are rejoined for the fourth time, I believe, with Rabid Squirrel. The fourth track, at least. I
I
think.
think it's the fourth track and the fourth time if you count the track talk as a separate thing, even though we did those back to back.
Yeah, and maybe the fifth time you've been on, including Behind the Lines, I'm guessing. So,
Oh, sorry, I meant the first two were like back to back.
oh yeah.
That was Ruby Falls and Track Talk, and then we did one after that. So this would be the fourth time or the third time and the fourth track.
I'm trying to work
Because the
out.
third one we covered Formula
Yeah,
and Hard Times.
I'm trying to work
Yeah.
out who my most recurrent guest is. It's either you or iPie at the moment, I believe. So anyway,
I,
today
I would think it'd be Arglin. Didn't you talk to Arglin like 4 or 5 times?
I think both the Arglin track talks over an hour, almost an hour and a half. So
Maybe I'm just misremembering because they were really long.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
All right, we're getting sidetracked again.
yeah. Okay, let's stay on
Our
topic.
viewers don't know we've been sidetracked like 6 times before starting the interview.
Yeah, we can't get this thing going. So yeah, today we are here to talk about Rabid's insane track Selee crew, which
Okay, I have to like put a like a footnote on that right away, which is that
because
it was
yeah,
like a joint effort between myself and David,
yep.
who is also known as Conundrummer, and we had a lot of like I want to say directorial guidance from Sharon Pak, who is David's friend and an artist in her own right. Um,
Yep. This is
yeah,
something that I actually did reference in the top 10 video as well. So they do get their just
good.
credits. Oh, I guess that's a spoiler. Seeley's in the top 10. But
Oh no,
but
I could never have predicted.
yeah, what are the odds?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess as an addendum, perhaps I should also guess something from Conundrum for this episode. But anyway, tell me
Yeah,
about
I would definitely talk to him about it because he can talk more about. Well,
about the
hopefully,
code
if he
side of
wants to.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, because he did it. He like, well, he not only like coded a bunch of features that sped everything up dramatically,
Mm,
some that were reused from Hard Times, and some that were like brand new. And I can demo some of them.
sure.
But um, what was I lost my train of thought. Right, but he also coded like like I made the track and then sent it to him, and then he wrote a program to draw like the hexagons
Mm,
and the triangles like automatically. So none of that was done by hand. It was all like generated. I mean, it's still here. I'm just gonna screen share this now because there's a whole bunch of stuff I'm gonna want to
yeah.
show. So I'll just start here. So they're all like lines. Like I can like change them and stuff.
Oh wow.
But they were all generated.
Yeah.
Like they weren't like I didn't sit and draw them out individually.
Yeah.
Sit here and drawing 200,000 lines
I mean,
one by one.
that would be the next level in terms of line writer masochism. But
Yeah.
yeah, it almost looks like a kind of
You thought 10-point
mesh.
cannons were bad.
Well, I mean, those are now easy as well, thanks to Conundrum. If you can use his tool, which is pretty
I don't think
complex.
anyone but him. I
Actually,
don't think anyone but him has access to it. Oh, did he post
no,
it?
yeah, he gave it to us. Arglin
Oh, nice.
kind of
I didn't know about that.
Arglin can kind of use it, but yeah,
I heard it's very glitchy.
yeah,
At
it
least he
is.
said that on the track talk.
Yeah,
Anyway, so yeah, this is all like these were all coded based on where Bosch was at different frames. Um. So yeah. So I don't really know how he did that. I just know it was code. I know that I sent the track off. Actually, I made this first bit here. So I made all this, quote unquote, by hand. I mean,
Yeah.
using tools. Oh, I did I did finger quotes around by hand.
Yes.
And then I sent it off, and then David sent it back with all the hexagons here, um, and then all of these triangles, and then the rhombuses at the all this. And then I went through and like added stuff and changed stuff and deleted stuff and made it fun.
Oh yes.
So I'm responsible for the funds because Superflu was the duo, and I can switch this back. Superflu was the duo. Oh, there we go. Superflu was the band. They're like a electronic DJ duo, so it's weird to call them a band. But they contacted me and were like, "Hey, we would love for you to make a line writer track to the thing." And like I wrote like this long response where I was like, "I've never made a track to this kind of music, and this is like has these really cool like textures and stuff, and I'm not really sure. Like, I don't want to make like, you know." I didn't say this, but I don't want to make like a Doodle Chaos style track because it just wouldn't do the song justice, you know?
Was that what they were kind of asking for?
I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Because I wrote this long email and then I talked to David and I was like, I think we could work together if we do this. Like, we might be able to do it together. And then I got back a response that was like, sounds good. Like, that was like it. And we were like, oh, okay. And then so David and I talked about it and we were like, why don't we just like ask them for like a shit ton of money? And then if they're like, yeah, sure, sounds good, then we'll just take it and make whatever we end up making. And we did that, and we decided like this is what we're going to ask for, and this is what like the minimum we do it for, just because we were like, we don't know how much work it's going to be because we never tried to make anything like this.
Right.
And they came back and offered us, like, we were like, how about this? And they were like, the next thing they offered, like the thing that they offered was like slightly over a minimum. And we were like, oh, that's more than we were expecting. Sounds good. So we took it. And then David brought Sharon on, and we spent a long time like brainstorming, and we had a couple I remember if they must have been Discord chats. I wanted to say Skype sessions, but then I realized they were Discord.
Skype is dead.
No, wait. No, they were Google Hangouts. That's what they were.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of like Google Hangouts to like, or maybe not a bunch, but we had 2 or 3, and we talked about different things, and then we actually spent a lot of time gathering research imagery. Should I keep going? I'm not sure if I'm answering the question.
Hey, you're doing,
I can just
you're
keep
doing
going.
Fine.
Okay.
As long as there's sound, we're good. I mean, I'm learning from this. I mean, all those line writer entrepreneurs out there watching this, you now know how to haggle yourself a good deal. Milk 'em dry, boys.
Yeah, we were surprised that they were willing to pay us as much as they said they were willing to pay us. And we were like, oh, well, if you're giving us that much. And then we were like, okay, so we will do it if we say that like whatever we make is going to be it. Like, you don't get to like come in and be like, we don't like that, you should change it.
Oh, wow.
It's like, we're going to make it, so you're going to be okay with it. I mean, I phrased it more diplomatically.
But you basically kind of bent them over the table then. Very nice.
I mean, not really, because they were just, I mean, they seemed like they were like, whatever you want to do is cool. So like, they were like, we just think it'd be like a fun idea. You make a line writer track, and whatever you come up with sounds good. So they were just super chill about it. Sometimes clients can be like, come off as super chill, and then when you send them the finished version, they're like, oh, I don't like it, you have to change all these things. So I did kind of like preempt that potentially a little bit, but they never did that. They were like super happy with it. And turned out they were great to work with. Everything was a thumbs up, which is always the best way to go.
That's the best response.
The best clients to have.
So yeah,
right. So I can like keep talking about how it happened, but
yeah,
I'm not sure.
Ahead. I mean, we might as well start, I guess, with the history of this, which you're kind of doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, continue.
Yeah. So we got it, and then we were like, okay, what do we do? Like, how do we want to put this together? And we like had brainstorming sessions with 3 of us, and I'm going to actually put up on the screen. We had some, where is it? Here we go. So we had like nope, this is it. Yeah. So this is a Dropbox paper, and it's just a thing where we can like put we could like put things and brainstorm and so the first thing we did was gather research imagery. And the first thing I did was gather research imagery outside of LineWriter. So here's some stuff. We were like, this is cool.
Oh, yeah.
We like these GIFs. Sorry for people who pronounce it the other way.
Yeah, that seems to be a big thing at the moment.
So these are all made by Bees and Bombs, who's like makes these really cool GIFs in processing, which is a program, who I like follow on Twitter. And then this is a cool thing. This is called Dynamics of the Subway, and it's a music video from like a few years ago, and it's just awesome. Like, okay, so you can't hear the music, but this is like synced up with music.
Yeah.
And like these are 3 different percussion instruments right now, and then I'll skip ahead a little bit. So these are different instruments, and they're all, it's like it's synced up just perfectly. It's like it's creating the music on screen, and then it gets really all weird and stuff. But anyway, that's a really cool video. I would recommend. It's called Dynamics of the Subway, and you can find it on Vimeo.
Yeah.
This is a cool video that we found as well. I think Sharon found this one, but it's just, I'm going to set this at 2 times speed because it goes really slowly, and that's part of the fun, but I don't have time.
Yeah.
It's like a 12-minute music video.
Jeez.
But there's all this really cool, trippy stuff, as you can see. It's all black and white. Where's like the cool part? I need to find the cool part. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the cool part. Oh, not there. There it is. I found it. My internet is struggling.
Yeah.
Because you're going down this hallway, and then it all opens up.
Oh,
that is like, cool. Damn, that's cool. Anyway, so this is Grid, psychedelic animation. You can probably find that on YouTube too.
Yep.
David made this tool, which you can like, how does this see? Yeah, you can like add grid. You can like make these cool like generated line things. So that was a kind of an inspiration. And then Sharon had like what she was calling pure data aesthetic TM. So here's a bunch of like sort of research imagery along those lines. We sort of gathered, and there was all these really cool stuff where it's like graphs and charts that sort of take on their own aesthetic. And then we had some LineWriter references. So just all of Bug Thief was a big inspiration. And here's a few moments in Bug Thief that we really liked and wanted to like not steal from, but wanted to take inspiration from. Rigor Mortis was an inspiration. Here's some really old stuff. So this is Manual Mayhem X by Storvius with the DNA.
Yeah.
This is Supersonic Motion by Raphael, and this is from Revolution Finale by Flagcapper. And these 3 were also inspirations from way back before we had modern tools, and these took like a million years to make these. Oh yeah, and then this is I Squared.
Yeah.
This is Warp. This was a thing I made a long time ago. Oh yeah, this is the Valence 3 monument.
Yeah.
And then a couple of movement inspirations. There was like, I don't know if these actually panned out. No, they didn't. Never mind. These were potential ideas. Nothing to Lose and Home were potential ideas for movement, but then we never actually went into that. Okay, yeah. And then I made a few track tests. Here, I can show some of these. Interesting. So, like, this one, like, Bosch, like, where is it? So I had Bosch like falling a lot at the beginning, and so this was like, that was where like the first pile of hexagons came in the final track, and Bosch was like falling really fast.
Yeah.
And it just, the speed got too difficult to handle, honestly. Um, this one's fun. So this was an idea. So originally, this was inspired by like Bug Thief to have like these zigzag, but you can see how. Here, let me go back. So but I had some intentionality behind like how fast they were growing and shrinking and how big and small they were getting, and that ended up carrying over into the hexagons, which was later on. So this one's a little closer to what we ended up with. Oh, here, yeah, this is a thing. So this is like close, but it wasn't quite what we wanted. Yeah, here you can see. And this is the technique I ended up using for the hexagons later, was drawing these lines and then making it get bigger and smaller and then drawing the zigzags inside it and then erasing the guidelines.
Oh, yeah.
There's some things. These are things for Sharon. I hope there's nothing that's like I shouldn't be sharing in here, but I think it's all fine. I should have skimmed through it earlier. Oh yeah, so here, Sharon came up with this really cool idea of having. So there are 3 sections in the song where there's kick drums, and she was like, "Okay, what if we do world A, world B, world C, and then inside the worlds there's like a lot of movement." And like there's a lot of not like what we think of as movement, but like there's a lot happening on screen. And then in between there's more of like a free floating Bosch is falling through space kind of feel. So this is where you can start seeing it coming together, because the world A, so this is like some very rough ideas about storyboarding that she had. Here's where you can see it coming together. So this is like, what if we do like, these are like, originally it was going to be, what are these called? Platonic solids. And they're planar nets. And David was like, platonic solids sounds difficult because it's 3D. What if we just stick to these tessellations? And also then we can use what I think David called space-time animation to take these patterns and use them. I should be able to find. Yeah, here's a. I don't know if that's public, but so this is a document that David and I think a couple other people who I'm not sure. I won't say. A couple other people are working on, but you can see there's some like these are ideas for tessellation. So like if Bosch is moving to the right or left, then there's like frames happening here, and these are like tile sets that can be like repeated. So these are like a bunch of different ideas, and we ended up using this one right here, vertical hexagon.
Yep.
And
the one beneath, or whatever it was.
And then this one, horizontal triangle, or maybe it was vertical triangle. We used some form of this one. And then we used, I think, this one.
Sweet.
So, where was I? Right. So then,
that's crazy how
once we got that like conceptually together of like, here's our inspirations, here's our brainstorming sessions, here's our like vague plan. That's when I sat down and started making the actual track. And it was the big thing that I kept hearing from David, because David was like, I'm gonna do some really cool like data visualization stuff, which ended up being this. But I didn't see this until just a few days before the track was done.
Okay.
And so I was like making the track without this for a while because it had to be made first. And David kept saying, we want Bosch's direction to be continuously changing. We don't want Bosch to be just on a flat line or just falling straight. Bosch has to like be moving around the viewport. Even if it's a small amount, it needs to happen. And then like, I didn't understand it, but then if you look at it now, it's like, that's what makes this look super cool, is that Bosch is like slowly moving up and down and the whole thing kind of undulating. Does not look nearly as cool if Bosch is going straight on a flat line. So anyway, I was like trying to figure out what he was talking about, but eventually, yeah, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, this.
So I'm just going to slow this down so you can see. So it's like on the hits, it either stretches so that Bosch's, see that? So Bosch,
Yep.
there's 3 frames in 2 here. And so it's stretched. And then on these, Bosch kind of has 1 frame where Bosch is inside 2. See that?
Yeah.
And that's the basic idea of how that works.
Yeah.
And so I think most people could probably tell. Yeah, the first thing was happening. Oh, no, not there. Let's go back. Yeah, the first thing was happening is they're just going back and forth, right?
Yep.
And David can speak to this more. And then the second thing that's happening is they're going around in a circle.
Yep. Rabbit, are you there? We've lost your audio.
Oh, I'm still here.
There you are.
I don't think it's my internet.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more thought behind
let's
this
see.
than I
And then
even
I think
have thought.
the last thing that it does is there's like a center point, and it goes like it's in the center, and then it goes like out and then back by one to each part of the thing. I don't know why I'm talking about this. David can speak to this more than me.
Sure.
Let's see, where did I leave off? Right, yeah. So yeah, this is where we really started bringing things together and like planning what was going to happen. We knew that world A was going to be a hexagon, world B was going to be triangles, and world C was going to be like more intense hexagons. And then that's when I made this first part with this, which was this was like based on the ideas from the zigzags, but I just made, instead of zigzags, they were hexagons. So I can talk about how I made this. So there's, there's a lot of hexagons. So, and you might be wondering how that even worked. So what it was, grab. So I'd have these, so this line is totally straight, right? From here to here. The blue line is entirely straight. And what I was able to do was I was able to mark out, like, it's going to very quickly be like, so this is very crude, but like the hexagons are going to grow and then they're going to shrink, right? And that means that in between here and here, that it is a linear rate of growth. So what I can do is I can draw one hexagon, and actually, oh yeah, I want to very quickly draw a hexagon because it's fun to see. So with my scale rotate mod, I can duplicate it and then I can rotate it. No, it's 60? No, it's 120. Oh, whatever. Yeah. And then I can boom and then duplicate that. Oops. Nope, not that. What? No, I want to duplicate it. Why isn't this working? Why is it trying to edit a... Okay, I've not had that problem before. It doesn't matter.
We have a similar thing in LRA as well now. A mod someone made where you can just completely determine the angle of any line.
This is so weird. It's not letting me duplicate it. Okay. Like I'm holding D and it's not doing the thing. That's so... Oh, I know why, because I'm in this. I'm a fool. Okay, I got it. I got it this time. Ah! This is taking way longer than it should. I could make these so fast. Okay, 20. And now I can just do that, and do that, and then I'd have a perfect hexagon. And then I could like rotate it until it lined up with the line.
Yep.
We'll just imagine that's it. And then what I could do is duplicate it.
Yeah.
And connect it, and then like scale it until it matches, until it fit in between the two lines.
Yeah, so you're making these pretty fast then, really.
Reline it up. But then I could copy both of them and do it like this.
Yep.
And then I'd reline these two up, and then I could copy all four of them and do this. And eventually it would just increase exponentially. And so I could make 1,000 in relatively quick time.
Yeah, totally.
So on that note, I'm just going to jump ahead and talk about the most time-consuming thing in the entire fucking track. And that was these. Not these, but these triangles.
Yep.
Because Bosch is going really fast here. And there's a lot of triangles. And the thing is that we made Bosch speed up and slow down. So Bosch was falling.
Yeah.
And then we would so Bosch was falling, and then we would slow Bosch down with track lines.
Yeah.
There they are. But we'd have them they would be perfectly flat, but they were acceleration lines that moved Bosch left and right. And your video's gone.
Yeah, it's not necessary for the video at the moment, so I just turned it off.
They would move Bosch left and right, and so what results is these big curves, which look really cool. But if I couldn't do the linear, I couldn't do the straight lines because they were curving. So I kind of had to make them I don't actually remember. It's kind of a blur. I made this in a single 5 hour straight sitting. These triangles. It took so
madness.
Long, and this was I was it was at that point it was it's due tomorrow. I have to finish these goddamn triangles.
They got that close.
Yeah, this was a really bad crunch. It ended up being technically a couple days late, but it was fine.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
If you notice, they dropped the release of the music, the musical track a day before they dropped the video.
Right. Yeah.
It's because it was late. Anyway, they were happy with it. I would but anyway, because it was curving, I couldn't use that same technique, at least most of the time. And so
that must have been a pain.
It just sucked. Yeah, I think I used the same technique. I just had to make lots of different segments because it was curving.
Yeah.
And so that took 20% of the total time. That's not true. I think it might have been close to 10% of the work put into the entire track.
So what, you spent 7 hours doing that or something then?
I think it was 8 hours. Yeah, I'm trying to remember, but I don't. First I said 5, and I was I think that's too low. I think it was much longer than that.
Yeah.
The nice thing was, as you notice, this is going behind this.
Yeah.
So I started doing that by hand, and then I did the math, and I was this is going to take another 12 hours to finish. And I was I do not have that much time. It's supposed to be done tomorrow. And so I was please, David, make me a mod. And so David did. And it's called the slice mod. So I'll just make a very quick demo. So say I have this, and I want this to go, I want this line to be bisect, I want this to be, it's like a reverse fill tool, right?
Yeah.
And boom, ta-da!
So
what I was able to do is I was able to select the entire thing of these triangles that were supposed to be over, and then just be boom, done. And it did all of it automatically. I mean, I had to tweak it a little bit because these things don't work perfectly, and there were anomalies and stuff. But
I'm sure,
it took me half an hour as opposed to 12 hours.
So this is what Line Rider needs right now. These kind of tools.
This would be a good time to talk about layers. Ooh, hi, kitty. My kitty is clawing me because I'm talking at the computer. You can sit on my lap. Good time to talk about layers. So So this was originally, we developed this in hard times to do animation, but it was really useful in this project because I realized I was oh, we can just put the hexagons on a layer, but then the things that aren't hexagons can be on a different layer. And so I can work without having to like the hexagons interfering, and then I can like turn it back on, and then I can actually, what I can do is I was like, oh, I can do this. I can lock the track line so I don't affect them. I can select this. I can turn on the hexagons, and then I can use the slice mod so that the hexagons, this goes in front of the hexagons.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how I got all these things to look like they're in front of the background visuals, because I was able to like use the slice mod in that way. Actually awesome. This section I did manually, this whole section, because I got the slice mod here.
Yeah. For
these triangles.
Sure.
But then I started being like, oh, I can use this all over the place. And so I was doing things like this. See that?
Oh yeah.
So that was something that was like, yeah, there we go. It's like, I can do. And then of course, if we go to this part, all of these were like this. So I could just use the slice mod to make these parts of them like quote unquote opaque, and then these parts like transparent or whatever.
That's crazy.
So I could just, what I was able to do is I was able to just deselect this, select them all, and then like, and then turn this back on visual, and then commit a slice mod, and then boom.
And is this version publicly available, or do only you have it?
I believe the mods are somewhere.
Somewhere.
I think the biggest thing for David is that the reason that I got all these features is because I was literally paying him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think he just is resistant to the idea of playing tech support for anyone who wants to use the tools.
That's what he's
not, super well developed.
Yeah.
So I think actually all the mods are usable on linewriter.com and available on like his GitHub or something.
Yeah.
It's just what I got was like, here's instructions on how to install them.
Yeah.
And then help when I was like, this isn't working. And yeah. Things I think aren't available is there's a music sync feature. Somewhere in here there's multiple writers. I don't actually remember.
Oh, and you haven't used that yet.
This is the version Doodle Chaos used for Beethoven Spit.
The elusive multiple writers, the one thing that we all want and can't have.
Yeah, so I think that's in here, and there's an audio sync, so you can choose an audio file.
Yeah.
And then the layers. I think those are the only things that aren't technically publicly available. So all these mods you can use them on linewriter.com, I believe.
Yeah.
If you go into GitHub and figure out how to download them and install them.
I'll have to tell Arglen. He's a resident. Well, he's not tech support, but he's just smart. He just figures it out somehow.
So that's one really useful thing for layers, but another really useful thing I figured out. So this part, I was like, okay, I've got to do this really big build, right? And I want to have all these different elements of like drama that come in. So first off, I have like these little platforms that Bosch is bouncing off of. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to introduce these like hump things in the field. Oh, right. I have a guides layer that actually, yeah, let me just, that's all. Oh gosh, there's so many layers. I'm like, can't remember what they all are.
That must be so useful for scenery tracks.
Cool. So I could like, this is my guides layer, right? So I did like what I would previously call framing the camera, right? And I made lines to show where the camera edges are.
Yeah.
And then I can just uncheck the box and then they're gone. I don't have to like erase them later. I can just uncheck them for the recording.
I'm getting jealous of this software, Rabid. You're making me turn green.
So then I added these, which are just, I think I got rid of some of them at the end. But then the next thing I wanted to add was, I think I might have actually deleted that layer. But the next thing I wanted to add was these squiggle things. And I initially just went over it with pencil. Like I just like drew these big long pencil lines that looked like trash. And then I went back to it and like followed the pencil lines along in a different layer smoothly, and then I deleted the pencil layer. And it was like so helpful. I was like, how have I not realized this feature I needed for like a decade? So the funny thing about this is that it was created for the animation in Hard Times, and then I just discovered that I could do all these amazing things with scenery with it. I think this version, for the record, I think this version is going public. I don't know when. You'd have to ask David, but I don't hold me to that. But it's not. The plan is not to keep it private forever.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to he's just trying to figure out how to do it, logistics and stuff, and he's like really busy. So anyway, and then I drew this cool thing. I think this is actually pencil, but then I filled it in with black, which is really handy with the shade mod that I have down here, which is so I can like do like this and then and then
that's nice.
You have to make sure the shape closes or whatever, but so that's how I made this big black chunk and this big black chunk, and then of course my favorite thing was probably this thing at the end where I made this all in black.
Yeah, what was the concept for this end section? Because it kind of looks like almost like a sea or something. Is the kind of impression I got for it.
I don't know.
Because
at that point I was so tired. So I think I spent like 36 hours and 3 days working on the track.
What, straight?
Not straight. No, that's it was about 12 hours per day. I think I averaged 12 hours a day for 3 days. Because I was trying to finish it, and I was like I had so many ideas. As soon as I had like this visualization, and then I had like the structure of the track, it was like, oh, there's so many things I have to add. And so when I got to that last section, it was just like I was just having fun.
You just delirious.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this. This was something where we just scrubbed to there. So this was a really fun part. So they're doing this sort of bouncing around thing, and then at a certain point they stop bouncing around and they just expand. Yeah,
this is my favorite part of the track.
I'm not exactly sure what David did, but basically what happened was David made this whole thing was full of hexagons until I think here. And the hexagons like go out, like they're phasing into like a larger form of hexagon, which then if you look at this, it's a hexagon. It becomes the triangles. You see that? See the hexagons there? So it phases in the hexagons phase. They get bigger until they match what it is going to be when we get here. So that's what's going on there. And then I went in and like erased a bunch of lines. So we start with just erasing things so that it's still like there's no like lonely lines. Everything's all still connected.
Yeah.
And then it gets more and more erasing until we start getting these ends. Everything's still connected, but there's these ends. And then we erase more and more, and now we have things that are just floating, these little line segments, and then it just they all go away. We just have these like faint traces of what's happened. And then this part was really fun. So this is a riff off of something I did right at the first drop. Oh, I didn't even talk about this first section, guy. This was an idea where we were like, how can we just hexagons that are coming? So we had this bit, and then the pile of hexagons that Bash bounces on. This was something that came up in our brainstorm sessions, and then these hexagons sync to the synth going by.
Yeah,
it was really fun. And then this was like, I was like, we need like a build up, and so I just did a bunch of pencil scribbles in the edges of the screen, and then they like come in to the center of the track as the hexagons appear. But you can see that there's like these vocal fills here. So like this is like a was another idea I had that was all of this stuff is sourced from like this research imagery that we gathered. So if we go back here, like this thing right here, that's where I got the idea for those. Oh, and also I think, yeah, Sharon wrote some stuff in the story. Yeah, here we go. So that was an idea. We didn't end up being kick drums. That was here we go. So this was Sharon's idea for these, right?
Oh yeah.
And I sort of didn't do exactly what she had in mind, but I took that and ran with it. There was also another idea that ended up becoming the like the platforms out here. Yeah, these. And I don't remember exactly what it was. I think David was trying to do something in this section and like glitched out and like sent it to the group chat and was like, look at this glitch. And then Sharon was like, oh, what if you made a visual like this? And I was like, oh, I'm totally going to take that idea. So that's how these came into existence. What else? I think, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of right now. So all of these like visual ideas were brainstorming sessions and these research images. So I think that's the main takeaway I want to tell everyone is like research imagery is great. Do it if you want to do like cool visuals. Just like you could go Google stuff and find cool images and like go on like Pinterest or whatever and just look for things and then like collect things you like and then use those as inspiration. Anyway, so this was a riff off that vocal fill idea. And then I came back to it later on. Anytime there was that vocal fill, it's like, Yahweh! Or whatever. I'd like come back to that. And then there was, so here it is. So this zigzag thing was like this synth that I felt like needed some visualization. But this is the Yah. And then Hui. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, this is Yahweh right here. And then there's like, it's like this high one that goes, Wahoo! Way! So this is Wahoo! And then Way right here. And it goes like off the screen. And I just kept reusing that every time that happened. So those were really fun.
Yeah, there's a really good one at the end in the kind of fever dream seascape.
The really fun thing about that was that I could do it at a really fast speed. Like here they are again right here. And I could also do it at a really slow speed. So at the very end, we do it again, and it's really slow, but it's the exact same thing.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool. Anyway, because you've already seen it at this really high animated speed, and now you get to see it. Oh yeah, I have to talk about. Okay, so zoom out. So this part. So I talked about this a little bit, and then I talked about this. This originated with. Let's see. Yeah. So this originated with David realizing that if we did this, then it created this cool effect. If he like erased parts of it specifically. Oh, yeah. And then I was like, figured out that if I put these black things in, then it got really intense.
Yeah, that was.
And it was really fun. You got this like flashing effect before going into this, which I really like because this was originally we were like, we want this world B to be really sparse, and it ended up being kind of busy because the triangles like. You have to get to a really high speed before the triangle's visible, and there was just a lot of them on screen. And so I used this to be like, I made this part like really intense so that when we get to this, it chills out a bit. So this part, as you can see, I think there was just like randomness inserted into the pattern. Yeah, and that's how David did that distortion. But you can see, if I zoom out, you can see that it's just, Bosch is like they're not actually moving. We're just traveling through.
It still looks like it. It looks like it's just like waves undulating. It's awesome.
Well, if I stop and actually, you know what would be a real trip? Let's go backwards.
Oh, damn.
That's fun.
Yeah, a real trip. That's pretty much the words I use to describe this track.
But anyway, the fun thing is when you notice, so you can see those track lines there that are moving Bosch So they're all flat, like they're all x-axis lines, but they are acceleration, so they move Bosch left and right.
Oh.
And that creates for that really cool, like, moving back and forth. And then sometimes they're not there, and sometimes they are there. And that causes Bosch to speed up when they're falling and then slow down when the lines are pushing up.
Huh.
So it's like a combination of things that created this really cool, like, well, I mean, you can see this, like, this really cool effect where it feels like it's zooming in and then zooming out and then, like, moving back and forth.
Yeah.
So these were just following the themes of, like, having subtle movement at all times instead of just having Bosch falling straight or going on a straight line. And then this section was relatively easy. These triangles were actually a piece of cake because Bosch was going mostly in a straight line because Bosch was falling instead of being intentionally curved back and forth. Oh yeah, and then this part was fun, where we start out with triangles and then we like build up to get back into those platforms we had earlier. Also, I forgot to load this up at 30 FPS, so this is actually playing. The whole track is runs at 30 FPS.
Yeah.
So it's at 75% speed. Just because that created more exciting animation possibilities because things were happening less quickly, and also because then it was easier to control Bosch's speed for long periods of time if Bosch doesn't speed up as much when falling.
Fair enough.
So, but right now it's playing at 40 FPS. Here's a really fun thing. These right here, they actually look like that if you slow it down. Where now if I speed it up,
yeah, that's weird.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Same here. Like, this looks like, why are they only half there? But then if I speed it up, you can see coming into focus, and that's just the magic of, like, deleting every other line.
Yeah.
That was actually David's doing, that little bit right there. And that was actually fun fact. This, like, deleting those lines was the very last thing we did to the track. That was the last thing that got edited or added or whatever. And then here, I honestly, you'd have to ask David what these rhombuses, these hexagons are doing, because I still cannot figure out what's happening. I watch it in slow motion like this, and I'm still like, what is going on there? It's like one of them's growing and shrinking, but they're also moving up and down. It's like they're both going in, like, different rotational patterns. I cannot for the life of me figure out what the hell is happening.
Like they're being swapped over, I guess, in position.
Yeah, something like that. Over. Like they're. Yeah, so it's like David actually told me that this was directly inspired by Bees and Bombs, who he does a lot of stuff like this, where, like, I don't know. Well, you saw some of the GIFs earlier.
Yep.
But apparently this section was very much inspired by that, where it's, like, super trippy. By the way, Bees and Bombs saw the video and liked it.
Oh, cool. Awesome!
I think he actually retweeted it.
Nice.
Anyway, what else do I have to talk about? Oh yeah. This was actually David's idea for this part near the end here, where actually, and I found out this was a Crash Bandicoot sample, where this part's like down here or whatever. That's actually a Crash Bandicoot sample, which is wild.
Oh jeez.
But David's idea was, what if we just put, like, a whole bunch of shapes just flying by? So I have triangles, rhombuses, hexagons, and I think that's it. Is this just those three?
Yep, it's only 3 shapes.
Yeah. So it's just those 3, and so this was a world of shapes. This was our world of shapes. And so I have my camera guidelines here, and then I just, like, did a lot of. I had, like. So I did some shortcuts here, where I had, like, a block of shapes, and then I made all these different shapes and different sizes, and then I had, like, blocks, and then I would duplicate the block, and then I would just take those individual shapes and, like, move them into place instead of, like, like rotating and resizing them.
Yeah.
So I recycled a lot of shapes. So a lot of these are like similar, like they're the same size and rotation, but there's so many of them that it doesn't read.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just looks like chaos. But it was really fun to have like this moment where it's just like it's
pretty
we were
raw.
like, how do we transition from this into the end? And so it's just like shapes everywhere. So that was fun. And then this section, honestly, okay, I made the world of shapes, and then I was like looking at this section and realizing how much I wanted to do in it. And it looks really small, and there's not a lot there, but there were all these little things I was like, oh, I gotta do the vocal fill, and then I also gotta sync up with this synth with the shapes again, and then I wanna do trippy hexagons again, and then I wanna and then I gotta do something for the weird this was like the thing that took me longest to figure out what the visualization was going to be for. It's like there's that like weird quasi like beat underneath that's not like the full kick drum. There's not the full floor on the floor, but there's like some percussion stuff happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to have that synced because I got to have it cut out here. I have to have this very distinct stop. And I was just looking at how much I had to do, and it was like 4 a.m. and it was supposed to be due like that. Like it was like it was 4 a.m., which was like I think like noon on the day it was supposed to be due in the time zone. Actually, not the original deadline, but the second deadline where I was like, we can't get it done by the original deadline. When do you actually need it? When do you like need it by? And it was like noon on the day that they needed it. And I was like, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna sleep, and I'm gonna be like, sorry, it's gonna be done tomorrow.
Oh wow.
So, but it ended up being fine.
Yep.
It just got released a day late.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, they should be happy. There are no tracks that have anything like this on the internet.
Happy. They were so happy. They were like, this is like no worries about it being a day late because it's incredible.
Yeah.
They were really excited about it. But yeah, so I came back to this in the morning after a good 6 hours of rest and was like, okay, time to make this beautiful.
Yeah.
Really fun. What was your question about this? Yeah, I mostly I was just like, I want to have this undercurrent of percussion happening, and then these like sections that stick up were actually kind of. I did so much like bringing back themes from earlier in the track, but they were kind of related to this, where I had go back. Yeah, so there was this section right after here, where these triangles, and then these things going by on like these like low percussion hits that weren't like kick drums, but they were like something. And then I sort of reused that idea for this part. And then I added this thing because I felt like it needed something there, and I added this one line because there was like this interesting synth came in, and I was like, well, why not?
YOLO.
I was really proud of the slowdown, by the way. I'm just going to turn on onion skinning so we can like actually look at it. Cause it's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nicely engineered.
So we get to the end here. Oh, I gotta back this a little more. So we're going this fast, and then this is just a flat. So I have this here so that Bosch's tail doesn't pop off the line.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just a flat line with deceleration. But then we start curving, and when we're curving, we really don't want Bosch to like partially come up. And actually, get rid of those. We don't want Bosch to like partially come off the line.
Yep.
So I actually did like every third frame in places. I did every other frame in places. I did like sections where I didn't have any. It was just like wherever I can put a frame to like slow Bosch down slightly without having Bosch like do a roll or like. Sometimes it would be like if you slow Bosch down, like their tail will like come off the track, and it looks like, oh, that's weird. It's like they're like braking really hard, and I wanted it to be really subtle. So as you can see, very subtle.
Yeah, I don't think I even noticed it, to be honest. It is.
Yeah, that was the idea, is that you wouldn't notice that it was down until it actually stopped. So you can see we've slowed down significantly here, and then.
But yeah, one of the things about the start and the end is they're the only
Oh yeah,
places where you kind of feel like you're in a kind of vaguely tangible world. Like the
yeah,
rest of
yeah.
it
We
is
wanted to make it
just
start there and end there, and then in
yeah,
the middle, it's like the same things, but it goes fast enough, and we have this like space time animation stuff.
yeah. It's like the world comes
One
apart.
thing I wanted to talk about was um, something that's really cool in this build is that I can actually nudge one endpoint.
Ah,
And this was something that I think I talked about in my Ruby Falls interview was um, how much that would have helped me in This Will Destroy You Part 2, where I'll just recreate what I was doing in This Will Destroy You Part 2. Like I would draw a line, and then I would draw a second line and lock the angle.
yeah,
And then I would like try to tweak it, like move it a little bit.
yeah.
And then I would grab this line and I would extend it out and be like, okay, how similar is it? And then I'd undo and like move it back a little bit.
That's how you did
And
it.
then
Oh my god.
and then I would look at it and be like, okay, a little better. You got to tweak it a little more though. And then there we go. That's what I want. And then I would move on to the next line.
That's
now it wasn't
sickening.
frame by frame, so it wasn't as bad as it sounds because I was
Yeah.
doing like one line every 4 frames.
Yeah,
But it was still pretty bad.
yeah. I mean,
And that's why those sections took longer than any other section of that track.
yeah, that's only like one below
this
doing
was
what we
the
do.
same yeah. So this was the same idea, but because I could nudge an endpoint, like just like that, boom,
Yeah.
done. Next line.
Yeah, it's nice.
Boom, done. Next line. It was like super easy. The only thing that I think I've already given this a piece of feedback today, but the only thing would be nice is to customize the distance of a nudge.
Yeah, that's something you can actually now do in LRA thanks to Aether Gaming.
Oh yeah.
Who you can
Oh, did
literally
Aether add that?
yeah, you can literally type it in, which is quite cool.
Oh, well, I don't want to type it in. I want it to be a keystroke.
Oh,
I want to be able to manually decide how much the keystroke is. I want to be able to go in and be like, I want it to be 8 pixels. And then whenever I do that keystroke, it'll be 8 pixels. And then go back and be like, okay, now I want it to be 6 pixels.
That would be the dream for sure. Yeah, you could work very efficiently.
I don't think it's
if you could do it with just a button.
I think it's very possible.
Oh yeah.
It's just someone needs to make it happen. So anyway, you can see I get down to like 1 deceleration every 5th frame here. Just really taking it easy because we're already pretty slow. And then and then gets really and we just stop right at the end here. So
nice.
This actually, yeah, I'll just.
And then we have it's interesting because this end thing I assumed you edited that in, but you actually drew that, or you used a program or whatever.
So I got this I was really proud of this stop here.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Lines are like almost hidden.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Think. And then yeah, I did actually. I traced it.
Yeah.
I made a graphic and then traced it.
Well, you know what you can do now is there's a program.
I wanted to get that real nice zoom out.
Yeah, there's a program that'll do that for you as well, if you're interested.
I heard about it. It sounds like if I could. I mean, yeah, I know. Okay, so here's the deal. David has a way to very easily convert SVG files into the thing. I did not have time to like bug David and already had been like begging David to make me tools for a very long time. And I was like, you know what? This is only going to take so actually, okay. So I sent the completed track to them without this a little early. And then when they got back to me and were like, it looked great, that's when I added the credits. So I had time to add the credits.
Time to spend on it, yeah.
And so I was like, I'm just not going to bug David to like convert it. but I know about the tool that is it Ollie that has the
Yeah, he
tool.
has one that does images and also video, which is
The
pretty
the
interesting.
thing about the thing about that tool though is it's not vector based. It just takes a graphic and you end up with like a ton of lines and then you can't easily edit it.
Yeah, yeah, that's something we should specify. You have to
And
request
so
the amount of resolution you want, or if you don't have a
yeah.
tanky PC, you're pretty screwed.
And so what I like about the way that David does it, and this is what we did for Hard Times when we had an illustrator, is that
Yeah.
they were all SVG, they were vector based. And so I could resize things as much as I wanted and it was all perfect.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
Because it was actually like this is a vector graphic, right? So I can resize this as big or as small as I want and it'll look exactly how it should.
Yep.
So anyway. So I just traced it. I was like, I'm just gonna find a font and I'm gonna trace it.
Sweet. So at this point,
I did some copy paste with the letters.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can build up an alphabet.
I think basically, like, if you're just like looking at this track and being like, "How?" question mark question mark question mark. I think if I was gonna distill it, I would say, money.
Hey, this is what happens.
Research imagery. Collaborative brainstorming sessions about what we wanted it to look like with people who make art outside of Line Rider as well as people who make art inside of Line Rider. Slice, shade, scale, and rotate tools. Layer interface. And then like having David who can like code in super cool visual.
Oh yeah.
I think that's if you put all those things together, that's how we got here.
Yeah, for sure.
So none of us were expecting it to be this cool. I will say that. We were like, as we were putting it together, we were like, whoa, this is going to be so cool. And at the same time, we were like dying because we have no time. But I was anyway. Like, I'm dying because I don't have enough sleep, but this is so cool. I have to finish it right.
Yeah, it's definitely a one-of-a-kind creation for sure. It's pretty much the closest thing we have to a Line Rider kind of blockbustery track, really. Like, no one's really done anything on this kind of a scale before.
I think Transcendental might have hit that point when it came out.
Well, this is the blockbuster of this generation, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. See, okay. Oh, actually, that's something I want to mention. Fun thing about this track is that it doesn't actually ever get over, I think, 200 ppf. I think that's as fast as it goes
in the falling sections.
In the falling section, it gets up to like 200.
Yeah.
And then, which is like really slow for an animated track.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that there's actually no like tricks anywhere. It's all flat sled.
Oh, right.
And it's all basic flat sled. Like this basic flat sled and then some. And that's it. And I don't even think I did any multi-lining. Oh wait, no, I did. I did a little bit of multi-lining to control Bosch.
Yeah.
Bosch was like falling at these high speeds.
Yeah.
In like this bouncy section, I did some multi-lining, I think, and then I think down here, somewhere around in this area, I did some multi-lining. Yeah, there we are. There's the multi-lining right there.
Yeah.
But
so no.
But mostly it's like we were like, actually, David and I were like I was like, okay, I think David originally had the idea of doing some like fancy movement trick stuff, and I was like kind of made this pitch where I was like, if we have the track be really simple and the visuals be like super mind-blowing, the track will keep the visuals grounded and people will still be like, oh, it's a Line Rider track and not like, you know, it's a
judging
by a bunch of flashy stuff on my screen that doesn't even
judging by the music, I could see where the movement might have gone, but I think the direction you chose was awesome. I mean, it's not like a huge technique showy track in that sense, but it's kind of like the opposite in terms of the artistic direction you took. There's definitely a lot of tricks there. I mean,
there's none.
It's crazy
unless you count tumbling. That's or the stall, I guess.
Yeah, so
It's like
so
the stall. This is like the closest thing we have to a trick. Is this
the
right
closest
here.
thing we have to quirk in the track, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no line writer techniques in that sense, but definitely on the artistic side, there's some crazy stuff going on.
Which, yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of these ideas were ideas I had like milling about in my brain, and I was planning on doing like tracks, like slowly trying each idea out one at a time and being like, how does this work? How does this work? What if I visualize like these different aspects of the music with like visuals on screen or whatever? Like music sync visuals, I've been talking about that since like 2013. About doing that potentially. And it was like we just got a ton of money dumped on us, and and I was like, well, let's just do it all right now. So it felt rushed, but it came together really well.
You know what?
But there are a lot of ideas in here that I want to keep working on and expanding on.
Yeah, I almost don't want to use the term, but it's kind of like the ham of insane scenery tracks.
No. It's the ham of music visualization, I guess. Or visualization of the music with scenery as opposed to like with movement.
We'll have to call it VAM instead.
Maybe
Visual Art Mania or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is.
I also think comparisons to ham are a little bit overdone.
yeah, that's why I said I hesitate to make the comparison. But
like everything is like it's ham, and it's like no, ham was just a track.
Yeah, it is.
Ham was one of many influential tracks.
It was, and now it's gone, but we can't forget it. Anyway. Yeah, so this track was insane. I mean, it's kind of like a descent into madness or like someone's subconscious or drug-induced euphoria. I don't know. It's definitely a fever dream of a track for sure.
Yeah.
Why has my screen gone off?
Is that a question?
Sorry, I was just trying to...
Is that a question I should answer?
Is it? What's the question? Is
this track is like a trip, man.
Man, I get high and...
Is that your question?
I watch your track. Should I be watching this track when I go down to the crack shack? Is that a question?
What? We were on weed. I don't know where you went with that. That was okay.
Hey man, you can smoke whatever you want in the crack shack. There are no rules.
That sounds okay.
Anyway,
I bit over. I'm vetoing this bit.
Yeah. I don't know why anyone would actually want to do crack and then watch that track. Because it's not. Is it even like? I don't even know anything about it, to be honest.
I refuse to respond to this. I will not answer this question.
Fair enough.
Actually, that's actually funny though. I get a lot of people like commenting on "This Will Destroy You," being like, "Wow, you must have been so high when you made this," and I'm like, "I've never been high in my life."
Yeah, for all my talk, neither have I. So it's just superfluous banter, really. But anyway, yeah, this track is insane. And I am kind of speechless once again. But yeah, so thanks for joining us on this 4th return episode. Once again.
Yeah, did you have any more questions? You asked like one question and I just went.
Yeah, like I don't need to. Like I'm kind of learning. Like some people, like I may need to be coaxed more. Some people just let the floodgates out and then they just kind of talk the whole episode, which is great.
My question is, if you look at your list of potential questions, is there anything that hasn't been answered?
Apart from the bog standard stuff of what you don't like, is the only other thing I normally ask, I guess. But I mean, I don't think there's anything that you would dislike in this track, is there?
I don't think so, not really. It was all made very quickly, so I didn't have time to like
But then that
nitpicking.
kind of adds to it, though, the fact that you're in like a
Yeah.
demented, overly tired state while you make it. It's kind of like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a good portion of it that was made over like 3 weeks or so.
yeah,
And then before that, there was like a 3 weeks of like gathering and like brainstorming and stuff. But then like I would say about 60% of it was made in like a mad haze of like 4 days. Just like my world is this project.
yeah, that works. So
Like if you forced me to work those hours, it would be questionably illegal.
yeah,
If it was for a job.
yeah. Luckily, you're your own boss.
I would have gotten paid a lot of overtime at least. What?
Luckily, you're your own boss, I guess.
Luckily, I'm my own boss, and I still got paid decently, even with the hours spent on it. So
yeah, very nice.
Paid just as good as my other work.
So this does actually bring back to what I did want to ask. What are you going to do with these tools going forwards? Because I mean, you must have some other crazy ideas. Or have you blown the gasket on this one?
I honestly, yeah. I think I dumped all my ideas into this one. I'm like, I don't have anything left now, which doesn't mean I don't have more tracks I want to make. It just means like I don't have anything new anymore.
Well, I'll have to edit this out. You hear that, future employers of Rabid services? Rabid has not ever run out of ideas. There are millions.
I'm totally out. I have no ideas left. None. That's not true. Mostly I mean, I don't have any things that are like in my head that are burning to get out anymore. I wasn't expecting them all to come out in this way. So I have all these tracks where I was like, this is the track where I'm going to explore this idea. Now I'm like, well, I already did it. So I guess I can still make the track, which honestly, I think it just means it's going to be better because I'll already have a handle on how I'm going to do it. And then I can like really refine it and then maybe try out new things.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit, I'm working on a project right now and it's a little bit of a struggle to, one, I'm not getting paid for it anymore. And two,
no passion without money.
Like, yeah, I struggle to care if there's not mountains of money involved.
That'll be your next track, Mountain 2, but it's just a pile of cash with Line Rider going down it.
It's just a track that says, I need money. Pay me. No, that's not true.
Yeah,
I didn't get paid for this little story at all.
Yeah, it's just the same track, but instead of
I spent more on that than any of these. So.
Background scenery, it just flashes "Pay me" and your Patreon.
It's just a giant ad for my Patreon.
But that could be your next track. Out. You could just have like random like Pepsi and like Coke ads in the back of it, you just draw in like a Coke vending machine.
I should get sponsors.
You have Nike. You can like
no, actually, I've gotten what's the word?
Solicited.
I'm blanking. Yeah, well, no, it's like people being like, "Hey, we want you to make a track." That it's like basically an ad, and I'm like, no.
What is it like? Oh yeah, we have these shoes. Can you change Bosch's skin so that he wears some like Nike Air?
There's only been a couple of them, but I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. That sounds like horrible.
Was it like some really suspect companies?
I don't know if I should even talk about it in public.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, you know what? No, you know what? I have no problem. There was like there was a division, there's a division of Coca-Cola.
Oh, actually India. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that were like, we want, I think they originally contacted Doodle Chaos, and then he forwarded it to me. And I like took one look at this and I was like, no, I'm not making a Line Rider ad for Coca-Cola.
So basically I was right on the money then. Oh fuck. I think Rabid's like completely destroyed his internet connection. Coke have obviously been monitoring his internet and they've taken him out. Rabid, are you alive? Did Coke take you out? Uh-oh. Did he just like rip his Ethernet cable out the wall? What is going on? Oh boy. Yo.
Oh, I restarted Discord and we're back.
Oh, cool.
I shaded Coca-Cola too much.
Yep, I think
they overheard and they shut down my internet.
I thought they'd taken you out. That's some. I was like, damn, Coca-Cola does not take being dissed lightly.
Coca-Cola does not fuck around.
God damn, you think Coca-Cola isn't good enough?
It's like they're shading us. Cut their mic. I'm like a random Discord call that's gonna be watched by like 10 people.
Coca-Cola never forgets, man. God damn. So basically, when I said they wanted you to draw in like a Coca-Cola vending machine, I wasn't like far off then. You actually had like an offer.
No,
like
you were like really, really close.
That's ridiculous. Coca-Cola reached out to you, man. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like Coca-Cola specifically. It was Two Doodle Chaos, but it was like the part of it that's in India. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So, it wasn't like the CEO of Coca-Cola messaged me directly. It was like you need to make us a line rider shine.
Or else. Don't you know who I am? You better accept this opportunity.
I was directly threatened by the CEO of Coca-Cola, and I said, no! I spat in his face.
Oh.
Oh, God.
So, no more of these shirts coming out with Coca-Cola on the back anytime soon.
Oh, God. Oh, man. I have had way too much fun this interview. I need to cut down on the fun.
Yeah.
This is serious. This is Line Rider.
This is a serious interview.
Serious business.
Coca-Cola is a big deal. Respect your Coca-Cola kids.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you know what? I thought about it and I was like, maybe I should. And then I was like, you know what? I don't care. I can shade Coca-Cola on this interview. What have they done for me?
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of things done for me recently, I'm going to shout this out publicly. Rabid sent me this very rare Pepe of a shirt all the way from his home, or all the way from their home, I should say properly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Love it.
I have to catch myself.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you wanted to talk about that. Yeah, I have like a couple large gray Line Rider t-shirts and one like extra large white. And then I also have some like shirts that are like supposedly they're like women's sizes. In actuality, they're just like super small. Like I have like a women's large is I think smaller than a men's small, and I don't know why they think that like there's that much gender dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Not dysmorphia. What's that word? Diphorism? Whatever. The word where it is, we're like
I think that is dysmorphia.
Like in animals where like the male and the female look like super different.
Oh.
I don't think dysmorphia is the right word.
No, dysmorphia is like when like image, isn't it?
Yeah, dysmorphia is when like you think your body looks different than it is.
I don't know all that stuff.
Dimorphism, that's it.
Yeah, there you go, dimorphism.
Yeah, so I don't know why In Exile thought there was that much sexual dimorphism in the human race, but all women are like way smaller than all men. It's like that's a fact.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case. But I have like two like extra small tank tops, and then like two like extra large t-shirts. That's what I got.
Yeah, I think I got one of the extra larges, was it, or a large?
No, yours is a large.
Okay,
so the extra large is even bigger.
Yeah, so like for reference, I'm a 220-pound man, and the large fits me like perfectly fine. So extra large is like, I guess, like 250 plus.
Yeah. If you gotta be the Hulk himself, basically. Yeah. Which is, I mean, it would be. I would love it if someone was like, that will fit me perfectly. I can never find t-shirts. I want my Line Rider t-shirt. That would be amazing. And then I will send it to you.
If not, just use it as a blanket, I guess.
Yeah, you could also, if you're like really small, you could buy it and then use it as a Snuggie. That works too.
Yeah.
Or you could sew like the middle together at the bottom, and then it could become like a dress.
Yep.
Or like, what's the thing where you
tunic.
like? It's like those things that are like half shirt, half dress, but tunic, also like, it? But it's not like a skirt where it's like sewed together between the legs. I don't know what that's called. But you could probably
those are called like romper suits, aren't they?
Yeah, romper. Rompers. You can make a romper out of it. I mean, it's really wide too, so you'd have to be.
Have to be a wide boy.
Yeah, I don't know. Or you could just be like, it could be a long sleeve T-shirt, and you like lift up your arms, and there's like extra fabric. That would work too. I don't know. You could also like, I don't know, cut out the part that says Line Rider and stick it on your couch or something. I don't know. There's all sorts of things. If you're crafty, if you've got sewing skills,
but
you can make all sorts of. I just want to get rid of it. I'm just sitting in my closet.
You may have
just
noticed,
please take it.
We're giving y'all a pretty hard sell here. Like these shirts need to like find a home.
Yeah, you need to pay for shipping. But other than that, people can just have them. I don't care.
Actually, I know someone who could do with an extra large. Gavin Rue is 6'7", so he may actually get some use out of an extra large.
The problem is it's more wide than it is tall, so I don't know if that would, but maybe.
Damn.
I mean, the sleeves would come down to like probably like his like here or something. But
jeez. Yeah, damn it! Because
from what I could remember when I saw his interview, like he was like pretty thin, as well as being really tall. So, but I don't know.
Well, he's got some growing to do. He's only a teen, I believe.
Okay, cool. So anyway,
Gavin,
we're like
put on
way
about
off
200
topic
pounds and then,
at this
and then
point. Is this still a track talk?
Or is this a discussion of Gavin Rue's height, the most interesting subject in the Line Rider community?
Let's like make a diagram of all of the people in the Line Rider community by height.
See who could buy a shirt.
No, we just have to make a thing to see how tall everyone is, and so we can compare everyone's height. So we can imagine. Oh, then people can make fan art where we're all in a room together.
Oh God! Oh no, that's an awful.
You gotta know our height before you can do that.
Just the word fan art on the internet does not go.
Hey, what's wrong with fan art, man?
Have you ever typed in like? Go into DeviantArt and type in like Sonic fan art, and then you will.
I think that's a problem with I think that's a problem with DeviantArt, not with fan art.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with fan art. I mean, there's always going to be horrible fan art because there are horrible people. But like, that doesn't mean fan art's bad, right? I mean,
I'm just waiting for the day like someone just puts us all in like Line Rider skins and makes a track out of it.
Oh my God, that would be incredible.
That would be the most insane.
That would be incredible. Yeah, for the record, you can make fan art of the Rabid Squirrel avatar anytime. I've already seen the worst side of that. For the record, that was before your time. There are some. I've seen some things done to my avatar that I don't ever want to see again. So the Line Rider community is probably a great example of going straight to the worst possible fan art of their, at the time, administrator. So yeah, I welcome any fan art. It can't possibly be worse than some of the stuff that people who are maybe watching this and know who they are.
Yeah, I've seen some of it myself.
You actually might have seen it because I think you know some of the. Yeah, you might have seen some of this horrible.
Yeah, I've seen this degeneracy. It's something else.
So any fan art is welcome because you can't make it worse than what I've already seen.
To be honest, the best fan art I've seen.
Are you gonna keep all of this in the track talk?
No. I don't know at this point.
God.
The best thing I've seen in Line Rider so far, not fan art, but like in that kind of genre, was Arglin managed to animate like Bosch. Basically, it was like a really high quality animation. He basically animated Bosch shitting himself, and that was like probably the most intense.
I saw that, and that was horrible.
Yeah, that was something else. But anyway, before this track talk just degenerates,
I see everything. What was that?
Before this degenerates into a complete shit show, we should probably wrap the track talk up.
You should just like smash cut to like us like dying of laughter and then being like, we have to wrap this up somehow.
God.
Yeah, I made a track with David and Sharon, and it's good.
Yep.
Oh, I should shout out Sharon. What's her Instagram? I need to find.
No.
I have before we go. I have to shout out. Yeah. Is it? Wait. Is it just? Okay. You know what? I'm going to.
I've been on her website before. There's some good stuff on there.
I'm just gonna go. Yeah. I'm just pulling up the video so I can. I need to shout out people. So the music is by Superflu. They have a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. Yeah, the label's called Monoberry. Yeah, David Liu is at davidliu.me and also the Conundrum or youtube.com/theconundrummer. Sharon Pak is at sharonpak.com, though that's a somewhat outdated website, and the Instagram is oh.shrn.
Sweet.
So now I've shouted out everyone.
There you go, people.
So if you like the art in the video, you may enjoy the things that David and Sharon are up to in the world.
Totally. Sweet. And with that will conclude this fever dream of an interview and track talk. And leave.
Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah, have fun.
Get home safe.
Have fun digesting this track talk.
Don't do drugs in unsafe places. Get home safe. Take care of yourself.
This track is not a gateway to drugs.
Find people you love and stick with them, so you don't get depressed. What other advice do I have?
yeah. Disclaimer: this track is not a gateway.
Draw
to
lines.
drugs.
Lines are good.
It's good. No lines. No lines.
No lines. Quit line writer. Never draw another line. It's not worth it.
Just ride the lines. Don't sniff them. All right, we're out.